Hey, this is Fiona, and in this video I wanted to talk about my first ayahuasca experience. So I actually have been doing breath work with these, it's actually a couple in Santa Cruz, and they'll put on these big group sessions of breath work. And I actually went to one of the private breathwork sessions, and the woman told me, "Oh, Fiona, you should try, come to one of the sacred ceremony retreats." So I actually did a lot of research on it. I wanted to make sure I was fully prepared. And at the time, I was supposed to actually do it in July, but I ended up having to push it back a month just because the therapist I was working with was like, no, Fiona, we're not quite ready to do that. And so I ended up going in August, and it was actually quite amazing. It was definitely the number one experience, most transformational experience I've ever had. And, it was deep in the redwoods of Santa Cruz, deep in the mountains, off the grid kind of a thing, no reception. And for 3 days, we're there. And, they give us a whole protocol to prepare yourself before you journey. So there's no alcohol, no sugar, no salt, no oil, no watching violent films, no masturbating, no sex. You want to do exercise. You want to mostly stick to a vegan diet. And there's a lot of other foods that you have to avoid. So like avocados you weren't allowed to eat, and anything processed, and no red meat for sure. And it's basically, you want to clean your system. You want to just, because ayahuasca is gonna make you purge and stuff like that, and you're gonna have to feel everything in your body, and you want it to kind of be as clean as possible before you go in. And I actually, I was doing mostly smoothies and salads. It was basically like I was kind of starving the week leading up to my experience. And I spent a lot of time, meditating, exercising, journaling, and just trying to really do any processing, deep emotional processing to kind of prepare for it. And I just want to say that there was no book or YouTube video that prepared me for that experience. It was hard to describe because it was beyond anything that I've ever experienced before. And I've done mushrooms 3 times. I've done cannabis many times. I've done Molly. I've done like a whole bunch of things. Not like heroin or anything like that, but I've done a lot, so I kind of know. And I couldn't compare it to really anything. It was like, they say like it has the power of DMT, because there is it's 2 plants mixed together. You got the caapi plant, which is actually the MAO inhibitor, because we actually produce DMT, but if we didn't have this, but we have this, I guess this enzyme that breaks it down, so we're not tripping all the time. And so we mix the caapi plant with the DMT producing vine or the leaf, and the combination of those 2 plants is actually what creates ayahuasca. And there's like thousands of plants, maybe millions of plants in the Amazon. So how did they actually learn that those 2 plants, when mixed together, create this powerful healing experience? It was basically like universe, creator drew the person to these plants, I guess. That's what I kind of heard. So yeah, about my experience, the reason why my intention for going in was to work on a lot of healing of my traumas and wounds, and really, any stuff from ancestors, patterns from when I was young. I just wanted to really look at all that stuff and release it. And, in a lot of non-Western medicine, they actually see the mind and body as connected. It's Western medicine that's kind of like, no, we're going to treat the symptoms. You're not feeling good, well, just take this pill or something. And they don't really examine the whole mind, body, spirit connection, which is seen in a lot of other cultures. So, I learned that ayahuasca can actually be very healing, not only physically, like helping people heal from cancer, lung problems, digestive issues, skin issues, but also like with if you have depression or anxiety, any sort of addiction stuff. And it actually, studies have shown that it actually increases like the brain connectivity around certain things around, it just creates more connections, I think. So I tried to do a lot of research beforehand because I really wanted to go into this and be fully conscious, but not, also I didn't want to like pre-program myself for the experience. And, the night before, I just kept it very, I actually had to teach that the day before, but I just try to keep it just low drama, just as peaceful as possible. Playing relaxing music, meditating, making sure I get my exercise in, making sure I meditate, and just being as stress-free as possible. And when I got there the first day, it was like we did a whole breathwork session. So we were able to kind of feel into our bodies and get more present and, just kind of release anything that was kind of shooken up, any anxiety or anything leading up to the first ceremony. And, we had lunch after that, and it was just a vegan soup. And I think we waited like maybe 4 or 5 hours, and we did like a chakra clearing, and we did rapé, which is this kind of, you could say it's like nature's cocaine, but it's basically a pipe with the powder. It gets blown up your nose, and it creates this sense of centeredness and peace and courage. So it was kind of, we did this to kind of bring in more stronger intention, to kind of really hone in on our intention for this journey. And I remember leading up to this, I was like in tears. I was like, there was just this, I don't know what it was like a fear, or this like, I'm kind of anxious about this, and I'm also like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be facing like the darkest parts of myself, and I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. And so after we did the rapé, we did the chakra clearing, everyone changed into white clothes because it's kind of like a celebration, right? And you get smudged, one of the shaman facilitators was smudging us before the ayahuasca journey. And then we're all sitting in the circle. There's a total of 10 total, including, or actually, 9 of us, including the 2 shaman facilitators. And yeah, it was like the first person goes up, you just go in clockwise order, and you just, it's like you take the ayahuasca cup and you just drink it. And it was very, it was very earthy tasting, very, the taste of it made me want to throw up, but you don't want to make that face, like you want to respect the medicine. And so within a few minutes, like the person next to me was puking, and they give you this bowl to throw up in. And normally I get kind of grossed out with barfing, but it was like, they explained to me that it was a very emotional purge, like you're kind of getting out all the toxins from your system. It's whatever emotions are there. And there were a lot of people that were going through crises, like 2 men had I guess the girlfriends and the wife had left them. And also the one guy his mom was just diagnosed with cancer. And then there was one woman who her husband had died. And so there was a lot of stuff that was going on. For me, it was kind of like I wanted to just explore, look at the wounds, the traumas, so I could release them, be free of them, any patterns, anything that's in my DNA. And so we're all here, and people start throwing up. I go back to my sleeping bag area. I lay down. I feel a little queasy. I don't feel like I'm going to get sick or anything. And I just, listen to the music. I'm just kind of looking out because there's this big window where my bed is. And I'm just kind of listening to the music and just staying with whatever I'm feeling. And I would say maybe an hour in, things start to get more vivid. You feel whatever sadness. I remember in the beginning, I was trying to journal. Like, I kept writing stuff down, and I actually, one of the facilitators was like, no, Fiona, why don't you stay with your experience and try to feel what you're feeling. Don't try to analyze it and get in your head. And so I had, when the second round came and you drink a little bit more, I drank more, and then I started feeling this anger, this extreme, like, murderous rage. And I had to actually isolate myself from the group because I didn't want to ruin or mess up the experience for anyone else. So I actually had to get outside, and I was like, I need to scream. And I was just like, like, and like pounding pillows and stuff. And I just remember this intense rage inside of me. And I remember she later told me, like, Fiona, you weren't able to express anger ever, were you? And I was like, no, I kind of had to, like, swallow my anger. And because it was just this anger, and it kept going and it kept going. And there's very animalistic, like, this, I did feel like it was almost like a tiger energy kind of coming through me. And it was just like, I was like roaring and like into this darkness because there's no one else around you. It's this, we're in this cabin that's in the middle of the woods, and I'm just like, and we were trying to do toning, but I'm just like almost losing it, and I almost feel like it's like out of control. So we go upstairs. She says, if we close the windows, you can scream more, yell more, you know, pound on the pillows. So we go up there, and I just start to, like, you know, just get really, really angry. And it was, I was thinking it was anger that had to do with, you know, people that had abused their power and taken advantage of me in the past. And part of it was like anger towards myself for allowing that to happen. And none of the stuff really, I didn't try to analyze anything. It was just more of, you know, I'm just going to see what happens. And I just remember she said, the facilitator's like, okay, we're going to give you a little bit more because we need to entrain this. This is kind of like, it's going to anger, but there's something, you know, maybe if it goes a little bit deeper, you know, it will help you. So I drink a little bit more ayahuasca, and I take a sip of water, and then all of a sudden I just start throwing up. And it's this intense, like, dry heaving mixed with this, like, it's like from the bottom of my root chakra, just the base of my spine, of just this intense, like, being, my whole body being wrung out. It's this, it just felt like throwing up. Like, it was the most intense feeling, and it was also the most, like, just my whole being is being wrung out. And I remember just like thinking, this is pure suffering right now. This is absolute, like, I had, you know, I've had food poisoning in the past where it's been, you know, coming out of both ends, not to be graphic, but this ayahuasca experience was just way more intense than that. And I remember just hanging on to this bucket, and I was just like puking my guts out, and looking down and seeing, you know, like Emoto's book on the fractals, the hidden messages in water. It was like these fractal things in the throw up. And I remember, like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't see that before. And all of a sudden I like look up, and, you know, I'm upstairs with the facilitator, and I'm just like, holy shit, I'm tripping harder than I've ever tripped before. And I'm like, I'm really tripping. She's like, no, you're journeying. And I was like, okay, I should probably lay down. And so I laid down, and that's when things got a little bit scary. I had a part of me was definitely still trying to maintain control. I was going from this, it was like this beautiful imagery. It was like, I want to show it to you because it was so beautiful, because I actually wrote it in my journal afterwards. They actually did not allow me to journal after the experience because they wanted me to fully be with it. But it was like this type of thing, but it was all around the edges. Like, I closed my eyes at this point. I was deep in this trance, and there's like these little Aztec kind of artwork, and it was like pulsating and glowing. It was like white and black, and I just like kept saying like, oh, I hope I remember the artwork. I hope I remember this. Is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And then it would go from that reality to this other reality where I'm in front of the bucket, like, am I gonna throw up or not? To I am in this like weird sort of trap where I am dying and I can't get out of it. It's like a bad dream, and I'm like, did I die? Did I die? Am I alive? Am I dead? And I remember saying like, who in their right mind would ever go through this? I remember it being terrifying, and I was fighting it, and that's what made me so terrified was I kept fighting it. And I kept like trying to like wake myself up, wake myself out of this. And I was like, this is a bad dream and I can't get out of it. The music was all warped. It started sounding all like detuned and slowed down. I could hear people puking their guts out in the downstairs area. And I just like, who would ever go through this? This is fucking nightmare. This, like, I was just, it was not fun for a while. And it kept going between these three different things. So I would see these beautiful artwork and these beautiful like letterings. By the way, this was kind of the pattern I saw in the vomit, was like these types of patterns. And I saw some of this too in the beginning, but mostly this stuff was kind of wrapped around. It was like in this kind of square, like it was just square kind of shape that was, and it kept just like, you know, forming itself. It was super intricate. And I remember, you know, they showed me the ayahuasca fabric where it has that little kind of almost like a mini, I don't know, like a mini cross, but not really. But I was like, no, this looked way more detailed, way more intricate and small. And I also remember like during this nightmare kind of 3-dimensional thing, I kept saying like, who am I? Who am I? And then she kept saying, you're love. And I'd be like, okay. And then I like kind of pass out almost, and I'd be like, I'm gonna forget how to breathe, and am I gonna die? Like I was really thinking I was gonna die. I saw where there was this point where I was just didn't exist at all, and it was just like, wow, I don't exist anymore. And this is like, it just kind of blew my mind. It was pretty profound. And when I finally, you know, after going in this loop for a while and like, who am I? I'm love. Answering myself, who am I? Who am I? Oh yeah, I'm love. I'm love. I'm love. And I kept like, I remember kept touching myself just to kind of make sure I was there. And finally, I let go. I surrender. And that's when I was able to really get out of that cycle. It stopped getting scary. And I was able to feel like, you know, I am love. I am love. I kept saying this like an affirmation, and this like beautiful lime green light just kind of emanated from my being. It was just very beautiful. And I just felt this, like the Kundalini energy was just really on high. It was just all over, and just this green energy pouring from my heart. And I just felt this connection with everything, and just like this joy that I've not felt for a really long time. And so I actually go down, this is after the session, we go downstairs. It's really late at night, and you know, they're playing music, and it's just this celebration of you know, we're just in the circle eating fruit, and we don't talk about our experiences. It's just, you know, we're coming to a completion. And I remember saying like, I see why, when I was upstairs, I was like, I see why people do this medicine. I see it now. But it was just like, it was torturous. It was not for the faint of heart. It was definitely way more intense than I was anticipating. So the next day, there's a lot of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're gonna go through this experience again. Is it going to be as intense? I remember there was one guy who's like, I don't even know if I want to go through the second session. Is it going to make me feel worse? Because it's work. It's not like it's a walk in the park. It's you're facing some dark stuff. And I remember the second night being like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can handle it. I'm not going to chicken out though. I'm going to do it. And I remember drinking the ayahuasca, and no one seemed to purge right away. It was kind of like a lot more smoother. And I think it's because everyone did all the hard work the first night, so the second night was a lot easier. And I actually got so hot, like the kundalini was just, especially around my second, third, fourth chakras, was just getting so heated. I was like, I need to take a cold shower or something. And they said, no, just let the kundalini do its healing. So I went outside, and, you know, I heard all the birds and all the crickets and everything. And I was like, okay, maybe I should drink some more just so I can throw up, because I was kind of trying to still steer it. My intention was to just get out of the way and let the medicine heal me. Get out of the way, don't analyze it. And I knew in the beginning by me, you know, I'm going to throw up, you know, kind of setting the direction. I actually didn't end up throwing up at all the second night. And I was actually outside, and there's just the sense of peace and love. And I remember at one point, just the sound of the crickets was just vibrating my body, and it was just this zzz kind of sound, but it was just like this, like a massage chair or something. It was so intense. And hearing the music like kind of being played through my body, it was like there was like lights on lines, almost like a Christmas tree in a way, but it was like these, I actually drew a picture of it, but it was like these little things that were hanging like this on my body. And it was like they were kind of like gems, and they were twinkling and stuff like that. So the any sound or music would kind of make them vibrate and make it kind of, I could feel it inside of my body. And that went on for a while. It was really quite profound. Like the music would stream. It was like a light show, you know. It was like the music would stream through me. I was hearing people like suffering and stuff, and I remember just being like, you know what, I can let them be in their own bubble. I don't have to like go into their space, because the first night I had trouble staying in my own experience. I had to kind of separate. I was, you know, removed from the group just because of the anger stuff that was coming up, but also it was just intense because I was feeling all the suffering from everyone else, and it was just like too much. It was like I was in their experience. So the second night I was able to kind of make separations and let them have their own experience and me have my own experience. And that was it was a lot more peaceful. It was a lot more peaceful. I remember just feeling this joy and this love, and like I was like my lever. I just kept holding myself and feeling it was on fire. This whole like second to fourth chakra was just on fire, this whole line. And I just let it, you know, I had to take off the pillows and stuff, and then sometimes I put the pillow cover back and then take it off again. And yeah, there was at one point there was this kind of like a figure, two-dimensional figures, like a fish with two eyes that kind of tried to talk to me, and I telepathically told it like, no, thank you, I'm not interested. I want to stay in my own bubble. I just wanted to focus on the healing. I knew that it was intense at times. There were actually, I saw two shaman come up to me, and they had black hair, kind of tan skin, tattoo on the back of the thigh or the calf. And I also said, no, leave me alone, telepathically, because I didn't want any interference. I just wanted to be in my own experience. And the second night, it just felt way more peaceful and way more enjoyable. And I just felt so connected with everything. I felt happy. I felt just oneness with everything, with it just made peace with everything. And I remember seeing there was this like white wall. It was like a fabric that had like certain imprints in it, and it kind of felt very it was like this. It kind of looked like that. I don't know what it meant or anything, but it was just some artwork that I saw. And I remember the music. It was like I would feel the music on different chakras, different parts of my body. There was the burning that was going on top of that, the scorching heat, and it was uncomfortable. I mean, it was really uncomfortable, but I just stayed with it, and I just knew it was healing, and I knew that that connection between the second and fourth chakra, the third chakra, there's a blockage right there. But it was, instead of it making me throw up, it was just like this buzzing, really burning sensation with all the crickets and the birds and everything. And it just felt, it was just, I got out of the way the second night. The first night I struggled. I tried to be in control. The second night I just allowed the medicine to do its healing, and it was very different. So so actually the end of the first night there was a thunderstorm, and I remember that's actually why the fires are going on in Santa Cruz, was because of the scattered thunderstorms. But I remember the lightning coming through that night, and it being like raining, and there are animals. There's like roosters coming by like late at night. There was like a mouse that came in the cabin. There was a bat that flew in. It was kind of a lot of wildlife. So anyways, yeah, the third day, the morning, you know, we're all kind of sharing our experiences, and everyone has a smile on their face. Everyone's just at peace. And some people are like, no, I don't want this feeling to end, because it's so beautiful, and I don't want it to get ruined. And I remember being like integrating back into reality was very difficult. They actually said, don't talk about your experiences, don't go on the computer, try to avoid interacting with people for 3 days. And that was actually really not that hard to do. At first I thought it was going to be difficult, but actually it made the experience more sacred. And I'm actually have waited almost a whole month since I've done the experience to actually share it right now with you guys. So by doing that, it actually created this space of, I am having this experience for myself. It's not to, you know, have other people interpret it or anything. It's really me getting my answers for myself, uncovering, you know, whatever the medicine wants me to look at. So I remember going back home and, you know, making an altar in every single room. Like, it's like I wanted to set the energy of every single room, make it sacred. I was burning sage, I had candles, I was meditating, I had like sound healing music going on, blasting. I stayed away from social media I remember like that whole week I came back, it felt like I reached a level of enlightenment. I was just like so happy, so tuned in. Like, I was questioning everything, decisions I had made. Like, do I really want to do this? Just everything about my life I was questioning, and it was pretty amazing. And I remember looking at a screen was very difficult, because it was like the blue light, because your third eye is so open, so it's like the blue light is almost like it like hurts you, so it would give me like these headaches. And I remember like going through all my DVDs, getting rid of all my scary movies, going through books and stuff that I don't want anymore, just purging all the stuff that I don't need anymore, and just seeing how I need quiet time. Like, I need time to come back to myself through breathing, through chakra toning, through exercise, through meditation. Just, I need to have some sort of thing that brings me back to me, so that I can maintain this cracked openness feeling. So yeah, I'd say overall the experience was the number one most powerful transformational thing I've ever gone through. And out of the whole group, I drank the least amount, but I felt like I tripped pretty hard. So it doesn't matter the amount that you drink. It's the medicine's going to do what it needs to do to heal you. And yeah, I'm actually going to be doing another ayahuasca journey in a few weeks. So I'm preparing myself for that. And yeah, just getting out of the way, allowing the medicine to do its work. I think that, you know, it's not easy work. Like, it was, like I said, the first night, it was torture. It was a nightmare. And for 6 hours, 6-7 hours, you know, you have to be with that and just get out of the way. If you fight it, it's going to get intense, it's going to get scary. So you just have to go with it and just, you know, sometimes they say like breathing helps, coming back to your breath, straightening your spine can help. And making sure you focus on your intention is going to be really, really important. So yeah, I think that it definitely helped me get over a lot of things, that helped me integrate a lot of stuff that had happened in the past, and helped me release a lot of stuff. You know, when I was purging, it felt like I was purging this like slave energy from my mom's lineage, you know, in China and stuff like that, where, you know, it was just arranged marriages and the woman was not allowed to speak up. And, you know, it's like our ancestors, you know, they're passing down all their struggle, their pain, their challenges, all that stuff gets passed down on a DNA level. And so it definitely felt like that dark energy of just like being a slave and, you know, not speaking up, not having discernment, not having freedom. And so I'm really grateful that I got to release a lot of that stuff. So I'm curious what comes up metaphorically, physically too, I guess, in the next session, just because I've done a lot of that work in integrating it. And if I'll just keep you posted. All right, thanks for watching.